How did I start with regressions? At the time, I worked at a hedge fund in New York, and I had just had a heartbreak. And it was my first heartbreak in my life, and I was 30 years old, and I was completely devastated. Nothing was helping. I even started therapy, and no amount of alcohol, binge drinking, partying, retail therapy, and sex therapy helped. And one night, we were out with colleagues, and on the subway ride back, it was me and another colleague left on a train. And for some reason, he told me about this book by Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters. And he told me about all this reincarnation, how this past life therapy was so powerful. I was surprised to hear about past lives from a financial analyst at a hedge fund, but I guess I was desperate enough to grab onto any straw. And so he gave me the book, he gave me his copy. I inhaled that book, and pretty much a week later, I had already scheduled a regression session for myself. You can find anything in New York, even back then. And the reason why I scheduled a session for myself is that in this book that I read by Brian Weiss, he said that he had this one patient who had been in therapy for years and nothing was helping her. And she had multiple phobias and so much anxiety. She was a wreck, a nerve wreck. And suddenly, when he regressed her into a past life by accident, and she saw herself dying in a flood somewhere in a village in Africa, I think, she had felt better instantly. And I had already started therapy, and it wasn't really helping. I was still a mess. And so I was like, okay, this is what I need. I need something to fix me ASAP. And so I went to this regression session, and I really did not know if it was going to help me or whether I was going to see anything, but I did. And what I saw that I disowned love. I saw this life in ancient Egypt. And this was really, really bizarre because I saw myself as a blonde, tall blonde man. And we all know that Egyptians are dark-haired, dark-eyed. So for many years, I actually had a little bit of a doubt about that memory at all because, it just did not align with my image of Egypt. And so what I saw was that there was this girl that I was in love with ever since I was a kid. And I wanted to marry her. I didn't see any other women at all. But at the time, in that place, women had to choose whether they wanted to pursue marriage and family or education. And so I saw myself as a sort of sovereign, maybe like a king of a small kingdom. I don't know, of course, I was a royalty. What did you think? And so what I did, I made an exception for her preemptively because I feared that had she have to choose education or marriage, she would have chosen education. And so she was allowed to marry me and become a priestess. But then I saw that this person that I saw went on a war, as I call it, a mergers and acquisition campaign, because it was some expansion type of war. So I was basically like fighting for some new territory to annex. And I was absent for 8 years. And when I come back after 8 years of absence, the first news I hear from my people is that my wife had cheated on me with the high priest. I was so heartbroken and so devastated. And imagine, I'm feeling all of this as I see it like a movie in front of my eyes. And I felt so heartbreaking. And I felt like, well, if even this kind of love, the love that I felt for this woman, cannot give me loyalty and cannot give me love back, why love at all? And so I decided that I will not love again. I did not even see my wife. I saw that uh, before dawn. I just left that kingdom or whatever it was, and went back to that land that I annexed, and never came back. So I never even had a conversation with her. And in that moment, first, I was completely devastated and I felt all those feelings once again. And then I actually had a change of perspective and I saw it, wait a second, how was that unconditional love if I expected loyalty? That's love with strings attached, no? And so I realized that, well, love is a gift. If you want to love, it's completely on you. It's your responsibility. Do not expect somebody else to love you back. And what I saw also is that the moment I disowned love, I also stopped loving myself, not just others. And that's no way to live. It's misery, all that is. And so in that moment, I changed the way I looked at the situation, and I was able to reset that program. And I was able to move on. And that had me hooked on regressions because it was that instant and that powerful and profound. And since then, I've done hundreds of regressions for myself. I've actually learned how to regress myself and how to regress others. And I was doing it more or less for a limited circle of people, my friends, because I was still in finance. And for years, I felt like it's inappropriate that I do past life regressions. But then in March 2020, right after my brother died from what I think was COVID, there were no tests at the time in Ukraine. I actually could not do anything else other than regressions, because when I was doing regressions, it uplifted me. When I was helping other people, it helped me. And so that's when I started doing it for other people and clients. And it was a lifesaver for me. And over the years, when I was doing all those regressions before, I've learned to love this tool precisely for its accessibility and instant effects. I'm a New Yorker, once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker. And also because it gives a comprehensive explanation of why I was feeling the way I was feeling. You see, there's lots of various energy works available to all of us. It's sound healing meditation, Reiki, emotional freedom technique, and so on. But what I prefer personally is to understand why, not just heal. maybe sometimes it's great just to heal, no argument. But sometimes, and you will know when that time is for you, when you want to know why, and you want to validate your feelings, and you want to know that you will not just be neurotic about it. And actually, there was a reason, maybe in childhood or maybe in your transpersonal history, of what gave you that reaction. And I've seen over the years, when I regressed myself, I've seen all kinds of really awesome, coolest stories, and I saw myself as a queen. I saw myself as a prostitute. I saw myself as a slave. I saw myself as a spinster, and a wife who lost her child. Uh, yes, a woman who lost her child, and a woman who lost her husband. Yes, in one memory, I saw a woman who first sent her husband to the war and he didn't come back, and then she lost his child uh, in a bombing, and she couldn't forgive herself for that because that was the only thing she had left from her beloved husband. And so all those situations were just heartbreaking, and no wonder I was so neurotic. And what regressions also helped me with, besides unwinding all those feelings of loneliness, betrayal, abandonment, neglect, not feeling enough, or feeling unworthy, um, it also helped me with all kinds of phobias. Because before I started with the regressions, I was scared of everything. I was scared of bugs. I was even scared of night moth. I mean, who is scared of night moth? I was. I was afraid of worms. I was afraid of geckos. I was afraid of darkness, heights, all sorts of things. One story, one really, really cool past life memory that I saw about heights was seeing myself jumping off a cliff on a horse. And I saw in that memory that it was in a place that's on a territory of Russia, but it was before any Slav states, any Slav empires of the present history. And I had no idea that there was any country there before. I honestly believe that Russian history started with Vikings civilizing Kiev. Kiev was founded by Vikings, and that was like 9th century. So I had no idea about that, but I saw this memory and jumping off a cliff on a horse, and I saw that I was a general in an army, and that I went on this war, conquering most of Europe, and I stretched myself way too far. And I was in some land that looked like maybe Ireland or Scotland, something hilly like this, and cold like that. And uh, basically, we got cornered by the locals that we were fighting, and there was no way out. The only way out was to surrender. And in that moment, I see all of this. There was no hesitation in my mind. I jump on my white horse off of this cliff, and I don't even look back to check that my entire army, or whatever was left of it, was jumping right behind me, just so we don't surrender, so that we die with our honor intact. That was a very cool memory. And imagine years later, I find the stones at a store in Union Square, which were called Apache stones. And the story behind those Apache stones were the tears of Apache who were forced to jump off the cliff on their horses after being cornered by the enemies, probably white people invading them. And until that moment, I've never read anywhere any reference that even that was a thing, that you can even like jump off a cliff with your horse. I mean, like, why do you have to kill your horse as well? It didn't make much sense to me at all. And then I read the story and, oh my God, all these Indians jumped off the cliff on their horses. So I was not entirely crazy when I had that vision. And it doesn't prove anything at all. And I've long abandoned trying to make sense of these visions and trying to figure out, is it a real thing? Is it a real past life memory? Did I have any past lives? Or is it my imagination gone wild? Or am I going crazy? I've actually realized that it doesn't matter. It has zero relevance because there is a very clear therapeutic effect of these memories. I get better. I don't get triggered the same way anymore. I feel expanded. I feel emotionally more stable, healthier, and grounded. And so, what does it matter if it's real or not? So, I actually remain agnostic on this, but I truly believe is that whatever you believe is true. And so I believe in the therapeutic value of past life regressions for sure, hands down. And so I am very happy and honored to offer all of this experience that I've accumulated over the years. And it's been 15 years since I've started doing regressions to help you to feel more grounded, emotionally healthier, stable, more in you, so that you can enjoy your life right here, right now, whether you believe in past lives or not. I want to help you live your best life and enjoy and savor every moment of it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you sign up for a session. Thank you.